Hey folks, welcome back, or of course welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the first time if you're brand new here, and thank you so much for choosing to join me for our pick a card reading today that I call a positivity boost type reading, aka it's something that you should walk away from the video with a smile on your face because of it. And of course, as you can tell by the title you just clicked on, our positivity boost question today is the ways you make the world brighter, aka why is the world better because you're in it, and how does your soul shine? So without further ado, let us choose our pile leaders to pick our messages with, calling on Spirit for our highest, best good. Please guide us to the right cards, and thank you so much for your help. All right, and let's see what stands out here. Feeling this one for pile 1. And this for pile 2. And for our wonderful pile number 3, how about this one right here? That one also stands out to me. Okay, let's unveil the cards together. So for pile 1 on the left, your leader today is Security, with the image of a cave and space above it. For pile number 2 here in the middle, your pile leader today is Thriving. We have a giraffe on the savannah. And last but not least, for our wonderful pile 3, your leader today is Gateway. And we have a mythological creature here. We have a unicorn. Very beautiful. So a quick refresher, pile 1 is Security, pile 2 is Thriving, and pile 3 is Gateway, though as I always say, you are 100% welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide. Once you're done meditating on it, or perhaps just pick a number 1 through 3, drop down to the description box below, find the timestamp for your pile, and I'll see you in our chat about the ways the world is better because you're in it. How does your soul shine? See you in the reading. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the way you make the world brighter, aka how do you shine? Why is the world better? Because you're in it. Of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Security as your pile leader card. I'm going to put that over here to the left. And let's begin the reading with drawing all of your cards in tandem. So, calling on Spirit for the highest best good of pile number 1 today. Can you tell us more about how pile number 1 brightens the world around them? What is their impact? How do they make the lives of others better? Thank you. Okay, this one for sure was standing out, so I'm going to choose that one as the first card. Number 2. There's number 3. 4, and I feel drawn to this one for number 5. Beautiful. And then let's draw your oracle cards, pile number 1. First up is the Botanical Inspirations deck. Thought I would use a flower deck today because it sounds kind of cheesy, but I was like, you know what? The way you brighten the world around you is like being a flower beside the path of others. So, flower deck it is. There's that card. And then let's go forth with the Citadel Oracle next. Oopsie. That was not my best shuffle in the entire world. Okay. Let's try that again, pile number 1. Oopsie. Oh boy, that really just wanted to stick together. Okay, are we ready for a better shuffle this time? Cross your fingers. Okay. At least semi-better. How does pile 1 brighten the world around them? The impact you have on others. Feeling drawn to this card in particular, so let's choose that one. And last but not least, we have the Elkie Oracle. And this one for sure is standing out. So we'll choose that. Okay, pile number 1. Thank you for your patience while I drew your cards. Let's unveil your tarot spread to begin. So first up to bat, we have the 4 of Pentacles. Someone clutching and holding on to what they have, reserving their resources. Number 2 is, okay, the 10 of Wands reversed. I can tell you this, pile number 1, you make people feel lighter. You help people relieve their burdens. I can tell you that already just from that card having popped out, but let's keep going. And then I'll explain everything in totality in a moment here. Then we have Judgment. Yes, okay, that's another refresher, kind of like reiteration, pile number 1 of uplifting others. Because not only do you have the 10 of Wands reversed, which is like releasing burdens, you also have Judgment, which is literally like souls arising. So you make people feel lighter. I almost wonder if some of you have a really good sense of humor. That's what I'm feeling intuitively here. It's like you have a really great sense of humor, pile number 1. I think that's at least one way that you uplift these other souls around you. You just make their world brighter. Okay, we have the Moon reversed, but you're also truthful. You also help dispel illusions. That's what the Moon reversed means. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Interesting. You know, that might also represent a bit of financial sense, or like career sense, or at least in terms of the way, it's funny because typically an Ace of Pentacles reverse we would read as a card of, not seeing an opportunity in front of you. But I think it might be you help see, blah, 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 I can't talk today. You help people see the truth, pile number 1. Dispelling illusions, especially related to areas of life where they have things that they could capitalize on, or that they could show the world more that they don't. So I think you're also very inspiring to other people in terms of your encouragement of others. That's another way you impact the world. But once again, we'll talk about it all in totality. After all the cards are on, we have the Sacred Lotus. I wonder if you're very spiritual too, pile 1. We have Enlightenment, No Mud, No Lotus by Thich Nhat Hanh. The Sacred Lotus. You've struggled a lot too, I bet. Because the Lotus, pile number 1, is... like many water flowers, are things that grow through the mud. They grow through a lot of difficult times, using the mud as a metaphor for, strife and struggle. But then once they reach the surface, pile 1, they blossom and they bloom and they shine all the brighter, or more radiant, maybe I should say, because they don't literally glow, but you know what I meant, pile number 1, because of what they've been through. So I think that's another way maybe too you inspire people, because you show them what's possible after it feels like everything has been lost, or you show them you can be strong and you can be successful even if you've struggled a lot in life. That's another way I'm seeing there with that Lotus. And then we have the Priest with perseverance and faith, okay, and the element of air. Could be an air sign, pile number 1. The Priest with perseverance and faith. Very spiritual. But not in a preachy way. You're not preachy to other people. You're spiritual, I think, in the way, too, that you uplift them, not just with a sense of humor I'm getting that feel before that we discussed, and not just through your example of striving through struggle, but also your example of like hope and faith in things, even when it all seems dim or lost. It's like you live, it's almost like you are a priest of sorts, pile number 1, but in the way of the example of your life rather than preaching from a particular religion. I think. That's what I'm hearing here. It's preaching through example rather than preaching through word. Beautiful. And then your L-key today is, we have She Who Whispers, Conchia, with secrets, confessions, and confidant as the keywords. People trust you a lot too, pile number 1. They trust you a lot. You are a shoulder for people to rely on in terms of, I want to say, their burdens. I'm wondering if some of you, now this might be literally your career, pile 1. Some of you, it might just be a career that would be like a good match for you, I guess is how I would put it. I think a lot of people feel very comfortable around you in terms of like telling you the truth about themselves, or telling you like their deeper burdens or their secrets. And I say that because like I get like almost like a therapist vibe off of you. That's why I kind of mentioned the career part. Like maybe you're not even sure why, but it's just, you tend to be the type of person where it's like the light that is inherent within your soul or your spirit is the light of, oh, this person is a listener. You almost kind of give me, if you're familiar with the Myers-Briggs system, like INFJ type vibes. They tend to be like really good listeners. They tend to be really good about helping other people. That's the sort of feeling I'm getting off of you, pile number 1. And on top of that, remember your pile leader was security. We have literally the depiction of a cave with a warm fire, even some cave art there with the mammoth. But then we have the cosmos above it. So it's like you're a shelter against the unknown, or a shelter against the chaos of the world. A warm place and like a warm soul for others to feel secure in. Not just with the way that I think they feel that they can confide in you, with that sort of therapist vibe I was getting before, but also just that you're a warm place for people to kind of settle down and feel cozy around, if that kind of makes sense. It's like you are the fire in the example or in the metaphor that people can kind of circle around, and they're like, okay, this is my safe place. You're a safe place to a lot of people too, pile number 1. So that's number 1. That's like the major impact I'm seeing that you have on other people around you. The way that your soul shines is in being that confidant. Also, I think you have a really good grasp on the way that words can affect other people and the way that you word things. I think you tend to be very, very careful about the way that you talk to other people. And I think that's another reason why they tend to feel very comfortable around you, because it's not just that you have a very good ear, pile number 1, for their other, like for when other people talk to you about things, but you also have a very good grasp, as I said, on the way that you respond back to them. They're like, okay, I know pile number 1 is my confidant. I know that they're not going to betray my trust and tell everyone what I said. And on top of that, I know I'm going to get good feedback from them. You're a very stable sense of support to other people, and you have been throughout your life. I get the sense that even maybe when you were a child, I get kind of like a wise beyond your years sort of vibe off of you, especially in the way of, I don't know, it feels like maybe some of you when you were young, you tended to be the shoulder to lean on for your friends. I mean, even if it sounds silly, but even if like on the playground, like you had a friend that was maybe crying or upset, and it's like you were the type of friend that they would go up to and be like, oh my God, so-and-so said this mean thing to me. And then like you were the person that would be like, okay, let's just go over here. Let's just calm down. Let's just talk about it. Let's have fun over here and not think about that bad thing, or let's process that thing. Obviously in less complex wording than that. A child wouldn't say it that way, but you know what I mean, pile number 1, at least in terms of the example. So a confidant. Beautiful. We already talked a little bit about the enlightenment you bring to other people too. I see a lot of themes shared here about you being a light bringer and a truth bringer, not in a shocking way, in a, I don't, because of the things that I've been seeing about you, where I think you're very good with your speech and you're really good about speaking to people in subtle ways that helps them. And it's like you're not blunt about it. You're not a bright shining light in their face, but you're really good about gently pointing out things to them. And I think that's why people feel so secure around you too, because they know that with your advice, pile 1, it's going to always be with the best intentions in mind that you give it to them. And on top of that, they know that it's not going to be like having an ice bucket thrown over them of, well, here's exactly what you need to do, dummy, right? You're going to be more of the type of person who's going to be like, oh, I totally see where you're coming from. I know why you're upset, well, what do you want to explore? Like, do you want advice on this and advice on that, etc. But like not in an invasive, like overly offering it way. Like, I don't know, it's just, I'm not describing it very well, pile number 1, but it's just like the way that you interweave your care in how you talk to other people. It's just, that's one of the many ways your soul shines out. But yes, that light too, that truth. As I said, it's like you're a priest of spirituality in the mundane. You're not a preachy person. You're very much so a person who, though you might not say, here's a spiritual lesson I learned, here's how you enact it in your own life, just through your example, living the way that you do, I feel you've impacted others to follow similar spiritual paths, even if it doesn't seem like it, even if it doesn't seem like they do the exact same spiritual things that you do. It's like this intangible, kind of very subtle effect that your energy has on giving other souls that sense of hope and that sense of faith in things. Okay. I almost wonder if maybe in a past life you were a priest of some sort, or it doesn't have to be a priest. It could be a spiritual leader or preacher of any religion, you know, rabbi, priest, pastor, etc. Insert, you know, monk, whatever religion we're talking about here. Doesn't matter. So yes, I think that might have had a bit of an influence on you. I also especially too feel like you've explored a lot of religions in this particular lifetime, because it's just like you have this universal spiritual energy to you as well. Very beautiful. But then the light too, pile 1, also shines in the way that you tell people the truth. You have the moon reversed here, and that's about breaking illusions. That's literally like the quality of a soul with a moon reversed card is a soul that is able to parse back the fog of life and the unknown and show the light to other people in that way too. So I think you're also a really good person in terms of like people going to you for, well, what do you think is the objective truth of a situation? Like they'll go to you just to get like a clear insight on what's going on in their life that they can't necessarily parse out themselves, or like they just want like a really good second opinion. So on top of that, maybe being a good therapist, if that's your career or not, pile number 1, you might also be a really good person in careers where you give advice to other people, or you give like suggestions. Like I'm thinking like wedding planner, I'm thinking interior designer, decorator, what are there other tons of careers where you give advice to other people, but it's something like that where it's like you recommend things, or you say, okay, this is what you're saying that you want, and then I'm going to take what you want and I'm going to put that in a blender, and we're going to have like, here's my suggestion on the other side of it. Okay. And it's like you get people so well, pile number 1, and I think you're really good at delivering what exactly they're expecting, what they're looking for. Sometimes even if they don't know what they're looking for, it's like, I don't know, I'm getting an intuitive sense that you have this quality of extracting what people really want, even if they can't verbalize it themselves. Okay, you're really good at interpreting people and reading people. Yes, and then I mentioned this before at the very beginning when we were drawing your tarot cards, but we do have the cards of the Ten of Wands reversed and Judgment. As I said before in the beginning, pile 1, you uplift other souls. I think a lot of you have a pretty good sense of humor. I think you tend to uplift people through comedy, and you tend to uplift people through a really good sense of wit. And like I said, that sense of humor, as I already mentioned. And Judgment too, kind of once again harkens back to that feeling of like a spirituality, because, you know, we think of like Judgment Day. That's why the souls are rising here. It's kind of a spiritual concept. But I don't see it as, once again, like this in-your-face spirituality that you throw at people, but very subtly, like you help uplift people to like higher, I want to say higher vibrational states is probably the best phrase I can think of. It's just by being you, even if you don't even interact with them, it's just the way that your soul resonates to other people helps bring theirs to like a higher, more happy level just by being around them. And then too, with the Ten of Wands reversed, not just in the sense of humor, but because the Ten of Wands reversed represents releasing burdens, I think you're also a good helper to others. I think you tend to be a very caring type. You tend to be the type of person who you would see someone bearing a really heavy load and you would say, hey, do you need some help picking that up? Do you need some help carrying that weight? You know, be it literally, you know, maybe you see someone at the store and they're carrying a load of bricks and you're like, oh my God, do you need some help with that? Or whatever it might be, heavy this stuff, I don't know, a giant bag of flour. Insert item here. Or it could be metaphorical too, like hearkening back to what we're talking about, like with the listening. Oh, you have a heavy burden. Let me help you relieve that burden. Okay, so you're also someone that makes people feel lighter in terms of not just their happiness, but in terms of what they're carrying that weighs their soul down, or maybe even their physical body down if we're talking about literally helping people with tangible things. So beautiful. Light bringer. Listener. And then what I find interesting is you do have 2 pentacles, pile number 1. We have the 4 of Pentacles at the very beginning, and we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed at the end. Let me think about that for just a moment. As far as the Ace of Pentacles reversed, as I was saying before, I think another way you shine truth is in helping people understand where there are opportunities that they're not seeing themselves. I don't want to repeat it too much because we did already explore that in your reading of like you helping people see things that they might not necessarily see themselves right away, either within themselves or like outside of themselves, especially with your ability to listen and provide like objective truths and like recommendations to people, etc. and so forth. But you know, it might even appear up in like a business or like career, depending, of course, what you do for your particular career or job. But it's like you see opportunities where other people don't. And by helping other people see those opportunities, you bring a lot more prosperity to their lives too. So you uplift people even sort of like in a financial way, or even if it doesn't necessarily mean money, pile number one, it can also mean helping them see opportunities with things that make them feel like appreciated for what they're passionate about in their careers. Okay. Like, you know, maybe you like at work, like you maybe appreciate the little things that other people do that you thank them for that maybe other people don't necessarily like thank them for. It might be like they kind of take it for granted, but I feel like you're the type of person that doesn't take things for granted, pile one. You always appreciate what you have, which is another meaning of the Four of Pentacles too. I didn't even get to that card yet, but good tie in there. The Four of Pentacles is about reserving your resources and being really good about holding things close. So you're very good at saving money. You're very good with money related things. I'm getting that sense because of that card. But, you know, I wonder if some of you might even, for those of you that do have a career that's related to imparting advice, I wonder if you're like a financial advisor of some sort. That could also be another way that that manifests, because especially with the Four of Pentacles, it's like you help people hold on to what is of worth to them. Okay. So just beautiful overall. I mean, if I had to summarize you in one sentence, pile one, the way that you impact others and the way that you just shine in the world that's unique to you, just by being you, even if you don't tangibly do, which I think you do tangibly do these things, but even just the way that your soul resonates with other people energetically, yeah, just one sentence would be a person that brings enlightenment and light and hope and a feeling of caring and understanding, like a warm fire to gather around. That's kind of how I would summarize you in one sentence there, pile one. Very beautiful. And also a joy bringer too. I want to mention that because remember, the way that you uplift souls, you relieve their burdens. You make living on earth easier for other people, which is rare. A lot of people make living on earth harder for other people, as we all know, but you're one of those rare souls, pile one, where you add more than you subtract from earth. Okay. Very beautiful energy, and thank you for letting me read it, pile one. If that reading was helpful for you, most of all, is what I care about, number one. But also, if you liked it and it resonated, here's my little YouTube spiel, forgive me, but I gotta say it. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one, up to all three of those things. And as we always say in our traditional Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile one. Hello there, my beautiful pile number two. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about how your soul makes the world brighter, aka the impact you have on others and why the world's better just because you're in it. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to thriving with the giraffe in the savannah as your pile leader. Now, let's put your pile leader off to the left here to begin. And first up, we're going to draw all of your cards. So calling on Spirit for our wonderful pile 2 today. Could you tell us more about how pile 2 impacts the world around them in a positive way? Why is the world better just for having pile 2 in it? Thank you, Spirit. Okay, that one for sure is like sticking out. It's like, pick me. Okay, this one too. Here is number 3. I'm going to draw this as 4. And what should we pick for number 5? I'm feeling this one right here. Beautiful. So there's your tarot spread. And then let's draw your oracle cards. And I decided to use a flower deck today. I thought flowers would work well for a positivity boost reading. Okay, this one for sure is already just sticking out, so we're going to take that one. And then we have the Citadel Oracle. Now, I've been not very good at shuffling this deck today, so cross your fingers I do it right on the first try. Not so good at that there, but we'll take it. Sometimes just, some decks shuffle really well with my hands, some just really don't, so I don't know, it depends. This one tends to be a bit trickier. And then last but not least, we have the L-Key Oracle today. Definitely this one. Thank you, Spirit. And let's unveil all your cards, pile number 2. So starting with the tarot spread at the very beginning, we have, first up to bat, the King of Cups. You might be a water sign, pile 2. We'll see, of course, the elemental associations of all the other cards. Beautiful. King of Cups is a very positive sign. Of course, we'll discuss this more in detail later as all the cards come out. Card number 2 is the Two of Wands. However, you're not just really good with emotional things. You're very good in terms of planning, it looks like, with the Two of Wands. Then we've got the Four of Cups, or I'm sorry, not the Four, we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so very potentially, or very likely, potentially isn't the best word, maybe a water sign? We'll see. Very potentially. That wasn't my, my most, clear phrasing. It's kind of clumsy. Oh well. We'll take it. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Beautiful. Huh. You know, I feel like you're one of those really rare people, pile 2, that is very good at both the emotional side of life, but also the ambitious side of life. You have a lot of really good balanced energy here, I'm already seeing. And then we have the Moon reversed. Beautiful. Just like pile 1 got that card as well. And I'll tell you what I told pile number 1. You're a truth bringer as well. Okay, then we have from the flower deck, the Primrose with youthful love. And the quote says, "If I had a single flower for every time I think of you, I could walk forever in my garden." By Claudia Adrienne Grandi. Youthful love. Definitely feels like that Cups energy we were sensing before, all that water with the King and the Page. Makes total sense. I almost wonder if some of you are quite emotionally sensitive, and I mean that in a positive connotation. And then also, too, I wonder, are some of you into poetry or writing? There's something here I'm hearing from Spirit. It's like you're really good at, like, speaking or turns of phrase and being clever with your words. You feel like poets to me, even if you're not necessarily like a poetry writer or a poet, pile number 2, you have that energy of like a poet to you for some reason. Let's keep going. Citadel Oracle, we have the Gambler with the element of earth, loss and risks. Ooh, yes. That's what I was telling you before. I was like, you're really good at the emotional side of things, but also we have like planning, ambition, energy here. We'll talk about that more. We have, last but not least, from the L-Key, She Who Is Present, Teraz, now an awareness and acceptance. Very go with the flow energy, which also makes sense with all the water I've been sensing from the cards. Okay, so in terms of elemental associations, pile 2, you have lots of water. We discussed that. You have lots of earth, especially with the Gambler, and then the Nine of Pentacles. And then the Two of Wands is a little bit of fire. So you come to me, or come across to me as someone who is mainly more on the emotional side of things. You're very talented with understanding the heart. You're very talented with understanding how emotions affect things and kind of the more sensitive side of life. That's why I asked it. I feel like some of you are like emotionally sensitive people with a positive connotation. I don't mean that in the mean way. You're like, when people say, "Oh, you're so sensitive." I hate when people say that. Anyways, that's why I say it in a positive connotation though, because you're someone who is gifted in the way that you're in tune with the way that you feel. And I think also with the way that other people feel. I almost wonder if you are empathic, and explaining that more, empathic means you can kind of pick up on other people's emotions really easily. You read other people's emotions really easily. I think that's why you're so talented with that particular aspect of life. And then too, because of this emotional sensitivity, I get the feeling, and I don't usually say this when someone doesn't have a lot of fire in their suit, or their spread, because fire is typically like the element of very creative people. Okay, it tends to be the element suit of passion and ambition and creativity, those things, creating things. But you do have, despite that, this sense of like high creativity because of the water elemental association. So I think if you are creative pile 2, you do it in a way that speaks to the human condition. So if you are like a poet or a writer, I think one way you impact other people, especially, is how you connect to their hearts through the written word, or, you know, say if you do like music, because music is poetry, right? You speak to them through the musical word as well. You connect to people's hearts. You just get them. Or if you haven't done that before, you might want to try those things, pile 2, because I think if you were to write or do poetry or music, etc., whatever is your creative outlet, especially with written words, I suppose even with art too, you know, painting, drawing, etc., you speak to people. It's just like you get them. You're one of those people that are really good at making people who view your work and feel like, oh, this work or this art or this music, etc., just gets me. Okay, and that's a really rare talent, pile 2. You know, not to diss anybody, but, you know, oftentimes we'll hear, you know, music that is like, well, yeah, it's okay, it's musically sound, but it kind of just feels generic, or it feels like, you know, same thing with like books sometimes too. You're like, well, it's technically written soundly, but it just kind of feels generic. You're not generic, pile number 2. You're very good at specificity with people's hearts. Okay. I know it's kind of maybe a weird compliment, but it's, like I said, you should take it as like a very high compliment, because that's rare. It's very rare to be authentic. And so I think too, you inspire other people to express themselves authentically. So it's another way that you impact the world around you in a positive way. Beautiful. So yes, we already talked about your emotional sensitivity. You could also be very psychic too, if not just empathic. I do see that a lot with people that have a lot of water in their suits. And then too, there's something about the way you speak in a way that is both surprising to others, but also truthful. I say that because we have both the Page of Cups and we have the Moon reversed as a part of your spread. Now, the Page of Cups can represent a youthful person that is emotional, that is in tune with intuition, those types of things, which we already talked about that. But another traditional depiction or meaning of the Page of Cups is a surprise, because you can see in her hand, she holds a cup and then bloop, out comes a fish. You always kind of wonder, why is there a fish in the cup of the Page of Cups? And that is interpreted, like I said, as a surprise. So, you know, I think, too, you almost give me, like, Luna Lovegood vibes from Harry Potter. Like, offbeat, but it's like you just, yeah, like you get people, and there's this depth to you that just, even though you might be quiet, pile number 2, when you do speak, it always means a lot. Okay, that's what I mean when I say you kind of feel like a Luna Lovegood person to me. And maybe that's even literally why, like, the moon came out, because Luna means the moon, right? And it's like you come out and you say these things that are profound. It's this truth that comes out with because the moon reversed represents illusions broken. So you break illusions through surprising things, okay? It's like a spontaneity that you have that not only affects people in the way of them realizing, oh, that's something I haven't really thought about before. So, like, there's an ingenuity to you, too, an innovation quality. But also you help people see the world in a new way. You're kind of a change bringer, I guess, is how I would summarize all of that. A change bringer in the way that you... Like, you show people that it doesn't always have to be the way that it's always been. Okay. Another card, it didn't come up for you, but another card that I would use to explain you, pile 2, would be like the Hierophant reversed. Okay, we're breaking traditions. We're tradition breakers. So you might find that you've lived a life where you've broken a lot of traditions. Maybe you do something completely different than like the rest of your family. Maybe you were kind of even like a black sheep of your family, so to speak. or you just live your life in a way that is off the beaten track. And I think that inspires other people to look at you and be like, I wish I kind of had that spontaneity in my life. I wish I had that confidence to just be that authentic and follow my own North Star and my guiding light rather than the guiding light of what everyone else expects me to follow. I think that's another reason why your creativity resonates with people, because they can tell it comes from your heart. You're also very accepting, pile number 2. You are a well of acceptance to other people. I think that is especially expressed with the Taraz. She is present, and her keywords are now, awareness, and acceptance. You're open-minded. You're not someone that people would go to and expect that you would judge them, okay? You're someone that's like, okay, I see where this person's coming from their perspective, or, I can see, like, that new idea sounds cool. Like, you're open to those new things, and you're very go with the flow. That's another word or phrase I would use to, explain or describe you, pile 2. And it's breathtaking, and, well, not just breathtaking, but also a breath of fresh air, because, we, in this world, we have a lot of people that are judgmental. Unfortunately, I wish we didn't, but we do. People that are judgmental and people that aren't so accepting and open-minded. And so when people come across you, pile 2, they're like, oh, here's a safe harbor where I can be who I am, and I don't feel like pile 2 is gonna judge me for it. Very beautiful. So far, you're a truth bringer, you surprise people, but with poignancy. Very in tune with your emotions. And also, too, with the King of Cups, I think you are an emotional teacher. A King of Cups is a leader in the element of water, in emotions and intuition and relationships too. That's another way that water can express itself in tarot. And so I think, yes, you're an emotional teacher in your relationships specifically. Not just, romantic relationships is what, the immediate connotation is when I say that, but platonic as well. So with your friends, with your family, I think you've had an emotional maturity to you. That's another key word to use with the King of Cups that maybe other people you've been with or been around haven't been able to match, but they see you as a guiding light, pile 2, because they're like, oh, okay, so that's what emotional maturity looks like. So I think in terms of your life path, if you've had a lot of really frustrating situations, and my condolences if so, I know it hasn't been easy, pile 2, but if you've had a lot of frustrating situations where it feels like you already maybe seem to have like a lot of emotionally immature people around you, or especially like with romantic relationships where you always were like the more emotionally mature partner, that is why, is because you play the role in other people's lives of the emotional sage. Okay, you teach them by example and you lead by example just by being you. Okay. And then, oh yes, we also have the other aspect of your reading that is related to like ambition and career. So it's interesting because on this side of things, on this half of you, you impact others by the way of your heart and your authenticity and all those good things that we already described. But then the other hand, we have a lot of skills in the material world too, because we have the thriving card, which was the pilator you were drawn to. You're someone that knows how to thrive wherever you are. I feel like you're very resourceful. You're also very hardworking, and I say that, pile 2, because with the 9 of Pentacles up right here, we'll kind of uncover her a little bit with Taraz out of the way. That is the card of, I always use the gumball machine metaphor. Forgive me if you watch my readings before, you know what I'm going to say, but for those of you who are new, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of, I put in the quarter to the gumball machine and I get the gumball out. Okay, or whatever candy, I don't know. Here in the US we have like gumball machines, but and so it's like you're really good not only at working very hard and building things, because look at the vineyard that she's built. She's worked hard to enjoy those grapes. It wasn't easy. Took her a lot of effort to get there, but she's so good at building and she's so good at constructing supports and fertilizing them and watering them, whatever else, plants require, of course, that we all know. That it's like she's really good at extracting the fruits of her labor. She knows what she's worth, too. I think that's another part of your emotional maturity, pile number 2. I don't think you let people walk all over you, or if you have, at one point in your life, you've learned that lesson, and now you're really good about establishing boundaries. Another keyword with the King of Cups, but also with thriving in a 9 of Pentacles personality, because you're someone who says, no, I put in this quarter. You need to give me back out what I put in, okay? And so I think by you being that way, pile 2, you show that light of example to other people, even if you don't tangibly say to other people, hey, you need to ask more of what you're worth. They'll look at you and be like, well, pile 2 knows what they're worth. They ask for what they're worth. They know what their labor deserves, or they know what their creativity deserves, etc. Whatever might be your venue of expression here, or, a meter of, what you consider success, right? So why don't I do that? Pile 2 does it. Why don't I do that? Even just by you being you. Very beautiful. And then we have the gambler as well. The element of earth, once again, just like pentacles, with loss and risks. Now that looks negative on the surface, but what I'm reading with that in combination between, especially the 2 of wands, the 9 of pentacles as well, and thriving on top of that, is that you're also really good, pile 2, about knowing what risks are good to take, especially in terms of finances and career as well. You're someone who knows how to gauge things. I almost wonder, this might not be your career, or if, for those of you that it is your career, hey, you'd be like, oh, that resonates, right? But you'd be very good at it if not being your main career, pile 2. And that is like, I don't know, something to do with like stock trading, something to do with like knowing like what's a good risk to take, investing, those sorts of things, because you're good for planning for the future. You're good about getting the fruits out of your labor. And we do have like the keywords here of like loss and risks. That, or you would also be really good in careers where you help people mitigate like loss or risks, or you help protect them from loss or risks. So I don't know, maybe like you work in insurance, or you work in even like counseling can help with like loss too, or like counseling like with risks, like people who have like health issues and they know that like maybe a certain treatment has a risk, or like they have a type of disease that's like a really high risk, and like so you'd be really good about helping people understand like what the risks are, like maybe even like doctors, something like that. But also like because of your emotional strength, you're not like cold and clinical about it. You're really good at being heartfelt with your understanding of how these risks and these losses affect people. Okay. So very beautiful, pile number 2. Wonderful energy here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. We did talk about, yes, your emotional side, the way you bring truth, your go with the flow energy, Luna Love, good. You being an emotional teacher, of course, taking good risks. And then also, and I wonder, I know I said a lot of you might be water signs, and that is still true because of the Page of Cups and the King of Cups. That screams water sign energy to me. But you also have the 2 of Wands, which is the card of planning for the future. So you almost kind of give me Virgo vibes too. Every Virgo I've ever known in my life has always been someone that is very good at planning, or is like, we need to get this down to the last detail. Make sure that everything is structured and set, which also kind of screams 9 of Pentacles energy to me, which is funny because September is the 9th month of the year, and September is like one of the main months for the Virgo sign. So some of you might be Virgos, or you might be like a Virgo moon, or it might be prominent in your chart. You kind of give that really good energy of like the stability of Earth and the organization skill of Earth combined with, as I said, that emotional power of water signs. So planning for the future, you might also, I don't know, especially next to loss and risks, you might also really impact others in a way, or you could if this isn't already your career, that it's not just helping them mitigate those risks, it's helping them avoid them. Like, I don't know. The main thing I'm thinking of is like meteorology, like, warning people that a storm is coming, or helping people prepare for disasters. It's something along those lines. So you help to and impact others in the way that you make the worst days of their lives a lot better because of that, especially for those of you that do work in, like, say, those careers in general. So yes, if I had to describe you in one sentence, pile number 2, like, let me put this together 1 second. An open-hearted, go with the flow. Open-hearted, go with the flow, emotional sage. That is really good about making people's days brighter because of your open-mindedness, because of your wisdom, and because of your strength for adding structure and stability to people's lives as well as your own. That's how I would describe you in one sentence based on this reading, pile number 2. Wonderful energy, and thank you so much for letting me read it for you. If you liked the reading, if it resonated with you, and of course, number 1, most of all, if it helped you, that's what I care about. number one priority with these readings. Please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel. You know the YouTube spiel by now. Thank you so much if you do choose to do one or all three of those things. And as we always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about why the world is better because you're in it, aka the secret ways that you make the world brighter and impact others around you. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the very cute / beautiful card with the unicorn, and that is Gateway. So we're going to put this off to the left to start and draw your cards. So let's get shuffling, calling on Spirit for our wonderful pile 3 today. Please help guide us to the right message regarding how do they positively impact others? Why is the world better because pile 3 is in it? Thank you. Okay, we're going to choose that one for sure. It's sticking out to me. I was going to pick that one. This one too. And I'm also drawn to that one. So that'll be the final tarot card. And then let's move on to your oracle decks today, pile 3. First up to bat is the flower deck of mine. I thought a flower deck would be beautiful for a positivity boost reading. Especially for those of us in the northern hemisphere where everything is starting to get colder and darker. I was like, we need some flowers. Flowers sound nice about right now. Not that I don't love autumn and winter, of course, but sometimes you do wish for warmer weather as it starts getting colder, right? Then we have the Citadel Oracle. Okay. So that one already revealed itself. We have the Thief, seizing the moment, and selfishness. We'll talk about that more in a moment. And we have, last but not least, the L-Key Oracle. So you already have quite a bit of earth energy in your cards revealed so far. That is the energy of the Thief there with the alchemical symbol. And even the unicorn kind of makes me think of earth because it's in such a it's like a mountainous area, sort of, in a forest. So you might be an earth sign, pile 3. We'll, of course, see with your tarot spread that will give us a lot more elemental associations. So let's unveil those right now. First up, we have an earth card. We have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Beautiful. Then we have the Two of Cups reversed. Then we have, for number 3, the 10 of Swords reversed. Interesting cards coming forward. You're my unique pile today, and I mean that in a very positive way, pile 3. Then we've got the 5 of Wands reversed. Is making very much sense, or very, I don't know, did I word that grammatically? Is making a lot of sense, not very much sense. Okay. I'm tired. And then we have the Two of Swords. Beautiful. So we have some air energy with the 2 swords. We have a little bit of fire with the 5 of Wands. A little bit of water with the 2 of Cups. But we also have Ace of Pentacles reversed. So some earth as well as Gateway. And then, of course, we already saw the Thief, which is also earth energy. Very well-balanced person. You have a lot of balance in your elements. I think your astrological placements might have kind of a good balance between all 4 different elements, water, air, fire, earth, etc. Because of this particular spread that you're getting here. So I think already I'm getting the sense, pile 3, that you help other people in the way that you bring balance. And I do see more specific than that with the 5 of Wands reversed. It's a message of bringing balance within conflicts. There's heavy mediator energy in here. Maybe that's even part of the career that you perform or you do, your job, etc., where you tend to bring tempers down. You try to have people come together. And too, especially with the 2 of Cups reversed that popped out, that's the card of disharmony in relationships being reversed. So I think you help people find middle ground to come too. Maybe even you work in some way with, if not like a mediator, like legal agreements between people. Maybe you work as like a lawyer or paralegal, etc. It could also be that you, I'm trying to think of other careers that work really well with that, like counseling for couples, marriage counseling, things along those lines. Or even if you don't work in those particular fields, pile 3, you probably would be very good at those fields and or like related fields that you can kind of see matching that same description. So yeah, mediator, a unifier. Let's look at your other cards and we'll explain everything in totality. We have the Camellia with destiny. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. That's a quote by Shakespeare. Beautiful. And then the Alki Oracle today you received is She Who Rises Up with Pearl. Empower, uplift, and elevate. Okay. Beautiful energy I'm seeing here. Pile 3. So we already discussed a little bit about you having that mediator energy. You're very good, as I said, about helping people find common ground. You're very good about, I almost feel like you're talented at being like the devil's advocate in terms of you're really good at helping people see, you know, kind of the opposite side of the opinion that they're on, or you're really good about seeing, okay, well, like say someone came to you and is like, okay, I'm of this opinion. You're a person who's very good at saying, I see what you mean, but have you considered this as well? I think you would also be really good in careers that help explain things to people. Teaching is one thing, of course, that's coming most prominently to mind, you know, be it at a K through 12 level versus like being a professor for college, university level. You're very good at like, I almost wonder too, politics, civics, things along those lines. Very good as well at speaking. You might be having a career or job that is related to speaking to a lot of people, especially with the abundance of air energy I'm seeing here, the 10 of Swords and then the 2 of Swords as well. And then too, even like, you know, when I think of like the 5 of Wands reversed, which, you know, well, I guess in current political climates, there's not as much about reaching across the aisle. There's more about people fighting a little bit more than that. But politics does require the art and the skill of coming to consensus and coming to agreements and reaching across aisles. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say like the 5 of Wands reversed, mediator energy, kind of leaning into this ability for public speaking. And like I said, even if you don't have those careers or like a job like that, pile number 3, number 1, you'd thrive in those things. But number 2, even in mundane ways, I think you impact other souls around you with inspiring them to also speak and inspiring them to also consider different opinions and like different perspectives because of the way that you can introduce those things to them. But not just on a logical level, I think also on a spiritual kind of fate level. I see that, of course, with the card Destiny. It's like, I think you help people see in the mundane the capacity for the spiritual in terms of, I want to say the word coming forward most prominently, intuitively to me, is acceptance. Because what is believing in destiny or fate but an acceptance of sorts? It's like you help them accept fate. You help them accept, well, this is the way that things are going. Not in a cold, ruthless way of like, you know, if someone came to you and said, oh God, my day was horrible. And you know, like, you're not going to be like the person that's like, oh, well, that's just how life is. You know what I mean? Not that. You're not ruthless or cold, but in a way that makes them feel more comforted and it makes them feel more like, I don't know, grounded? Grounded is another word that I'm hearing as well. You ground people too. That's some of that earth energy that's coming forward as well. But then too, you also empower and uplift people. Because look at Pearl, she who rises up, empower, uplift, and elevate. And it's not so much in a way of uplifting through like a sense of humor or making light of things. I mean, maybe you do have a really good sense of humor, pile 3, but you uplift people in the way of, yeah, that grounding, that acceptance, that it's funny because it's like sometimes I feel like you're good about helping them accept destiny and fate, but at the same time, you have a way of like rallying them to fight against what they think is their fate or their destiny or their doom. And on top of that, I feel like it's odd, pile number 3, and I mean that in the best way possible. Because I'm also getting an intuitive sense that some of you might be into, say, like speculative fiction, horror, fantasy, sci-fi. Maybe that's why you were drawn to the unicorn. Maybe you really like fantasy, for example. And I think if you are drawn to those things, I mean, when you think of it, stories really are stories about, or like tales of fate and destiny, but also people rising up against fate and destiny and changing it. So the way you impact others in that way is, maybe some of you are like fantasy writers. That could also be another possible career here. But in either case, no matter what your medium, pile 3, you uplift people in that way and helping them see the possibilities. Okay, that's another way that really, when we look at, say, speculative fiction, what is speculative fiction but the entertainment built out of entertaining possibilities, right? So you help people see that, not just in, as I said, the devil's advocate way, but also in inspiring ways too. Now, on top of that, I do want to expand on that message of you uplifting people, especially when it's like they feel like something is their fate, because we have the Ten of Swords reversed. Now, the Ten of Swords reversed, pile 3, and I'll unveil it a little bit more here with my kind of limited space. We have the Ten of Swords reversed. That is a card of feeling like all has been lost, but in its reversal energy, it's the feeling of, well, wait a minute, it's not the dark night of the soul anymore. I do have a chance to keep going. It's that moment in a story where a hero turns from everything's lost. The villain won. My goal is in tatters. What am I going to do? Plot twist. They see that light and they see a way out. So that's how you impact others in that way too, pile 3, is you help people see the light. Not falling just to what they think is destiny or fate, but accepting that despite some things being destiny or fate, there is ways out of what we think is our doom. There is light at the end of every tunnel, okay? So you uplift people in that way and saying, not all is lost. You can keep going. So that, on top of it, too, is empowering as well. You're the person that, you almost feel like Samwise Gamgee to me. I'm going to call you a Samwise pile 3, speaking of fantasy fiction, because you might not be Frodo, you might not be the main character, having to bear the main ring or whatever the main goal might be, but you're really good at being that supportive character to other people and saying, I know it's been difficult, but we have to keep moving. And then you help them pick up their sword and put it back in their hands, or in the Lord of the Rings case, I think it's in the Two Towers. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I watched the movies, but when Sam gives that speech to Frodo, and says, because Frodo basically says, well, why are we keeping doing this, Sam? Why are we keeping going? What's the whole point, right? And Sam says something about like, well, I can't remember the whole speech. I'll link it down below in the description. But basically he says something really poignant about the reason we keep going is because we believe in the light. You know, the light shining out all the clearer, just like in the stories that we used to read when we were young. Obviously, the speech in the movie is a lot more incredible than the way I'm depicting it. I'm forgetting some of the words. But those of you who have watched Lord of the Rings, you know 100% of what I'm talking about. You're a Samwise Gamgee, pile number 3. You help support people in that way at their absolute lowest when they feel like they can't keep going. Even if you don't tangibly say those things, you don't have a big speech like Sam does give to Frodo, you do it in your example to others, okay? You're their light at the end of the tunnel. You're a breath of fresh air and a miracle in their lives because of the light that you impart. Because you don't give up. And then let's see. The Two of Swords, once again, makes me think of that mediator energy. But on top of that, of being a good mediator, especially when it comes to helping people fight less with that Five of Wands reversed energy. The Two of Swords also represents a card of choices. I think you also help inspire people to make better choices. It could be through the example of maybe you made poor choices when you were younger, so you have a lot of wisdom to impart to other people on, well, here's what I went through. Here's what my suggestion would be based on someone that has maybe made similar mistakes as to whoever, maybe the person you would be giving advice to, just as an example would be. And on top of that as well, especially when people are having really tough dilemmas, I think that's that devil's advocate energy popping in again. You help them see the other side and look at things with impartiality. Because when you look at this Two of Swords, she's literally holding the two swords with a blindfold over her eyes. And that is pure impartiality. You might also have a justice-oriented career, if not like politics, as I was saying. Or if not literally being a mediator or lawyer. Or you'd be very good at it, pile 3, if you're wondering, or if it's not 100% resonating with what your current job or career is. And then 2, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed next to the Two of Cups reversed. We already talked about with the Two of Cups reversed that feeling of trying to help people find common ground, because the Two of Cups reversed is a card of disharmony. So especially with the Five of Wands reversed as a part of your spread, you help people, as I said, find that common ground. We discussed that. But with the Ace of Pentacles reversed next to it, the Ace of Pentacles reversed tends to represent either not being able to find financial opportunities for things, or like there being one, but people not perceiving that it's there. I think that's another way that you shine light to people. We talked about that a bit already with you helping them feel like not all hope is lost and you can keep going, and inspiring them to keep going and empowering them that way. But also, it might even be related to finances or career, pile 3. Especially because of the Pentacle suit with that card. It's like you help people find opportunities, or you help them see new opportunities that they might not initially perceive. You're really good about looking underneath the layers of things and being like, well, hey, did you consider this? Not just in their opinions and also being that objective viewpoint, but also in terms of, I don't know, like career counseling, career guidance. That might be another way that you either currently have an impact on other people, or like you'd be really good at too. So not only are you a Samwise pile 3, you're also kind of a Gandalf character. You're kind of a mix between Sam as like the best loyal friend, but you're also the wise sage, a mentor character like Gandalf is. You might not be the main character in terms of like being a Frodo, but Frodo would never have gotten there and gotten rid of the ring had it not been for, say, characters like Sam and Gandalf to help him on the way, right? Of course, many other characters as well, but in this example, as I said, specifically Gandalf and Sam feel like kind of a mix of characters that you remind me of with your energy here. Now, we do have an interesting twist here with the Thief. We have seizing the moment and selfishness. Obviously, doesn't mean that you're selfish, pile number 3, but I think what that reflects is that similar energy as the Ace of Pentacles reversed of seeing opportunities. Because especially when we think of a thief, maybe even in fantasy fiction, if you like to read or write it, maybe you have thief characters, right? What thieves do is they see opportunities where other people don't, especially like, say, if they're a pickpocket character. I mean, if they're like an assassin too, I guess. But I think you're just, I don't know, resourceful? Good at helping people see ways that they could improve like their business or their career. Hence like career counseling, as I mentioned before. You're very clever and smart, but in a way that is not understanding like book smart related things. Though it doesn't mean that you're not book smart, pile 3, but like it's like you're clever and street smart in the way of understanding where opportunities are and pointing them out to others. And then 2, we didn't even talk about your pile leader yet. We have gateway. And gateway is a doorway. Being on the cusp of something and then seeing the light, like this unicorn coming out of the dark forest into kind of the more mountainous light area. Bringing people from dark into light. I mean, we already described that with Sam, of course, but it is cool to see a bit of that symbolic synchronicity. So just beautiful energy overall, pile 3. If I had to summarize you in one sentence, the way that you impact others and just the way that you bring light and make the world better, simply by being you. Let's see how I would describe you in one sentence, just to summarize. Give me a moment. I guess I would say, and I know it's short and sweet, but I would describe you in one sentence as someone who helps others see the dawn after the night. Someone who helps other people see the light in what looks like simply shadows. And someone who guides people out of negative emotions and negative conflicts and brings them to greater harmony because of your sharp sense of mediation and your sharp sense of empowering people and helping them see different perspectives. You're almost like a mirror to pile 3. A mirror that shows people the truth and a mirror that shows people what they could see if they would turn to the light and not focus on the shadows so much. Okay, so that's how I would describe you, and that's how you impact others around you. Just through your energy and your spirit, pile 3. My beautiful Samwise Gamgees, right? As I said, I'll link that speech down below. Forgive me if I butchered a little bit of the quotes. It's been a while since I've seen it, but very wonderful speech. One of my favorite pieces of, basically any movie ever is Sam's speech to Frodo in that moment, so I'll link that down below. Now, with the reading, I hope that you liked it, it resonated, and most of all helped you. That's what I care about, number one, with these readings, and sorry to do the old YouTube spiel, you know it by now, but I just got to reiterate it. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done already. You know the drill. And thank you so much if you choose to do one to all 3 of those things. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.